Many schools and many districts have a problem with chronic absenteeism, meaning a student missing 10% or more of the school days, or if you think of a 180-day school year, 18 days or more. Now the question then becomes why? And what we found at the National Dropout Prevention Center is that many schools and many districts have chronic absentee rates that are unacceptable because they have high out-of-school suspension rates. Now that's not true for all schools, so then the question becomes, does my school or does my district have a chronic absentee problem due to high suspension levels? Now, changing your suspension practices and coming up with new ways to discipline students other than out-of-school suspension is not easy. It takes a lot of work. And so if your school district is one of those few that does not have a problem with suspensions contributing to absenteeism, then good for you. However, the question then becomes, in my school, in my district, do we have a problem with suspensions causing absenteeism? And if so, how bad is it? And what do we need to do about it? If you've got a grade, let's take a grade of a ninth grade class at a high school, and let's say that ninth grade class has 300 students in it. It's very easy with your data systems at your school level to make a list of those students who were chronically absent and how many days they were absent for a given time period. You can list, just say, 100 out of the 300 that had over 18 days absence. And you can put Johnny Jones missed 18 days, Susie Smith missed 21, whatever, but they all were chronically absent. Then you can also list for each student, I would suggest a table like we're going to show you here in the table of just 10 students. You can also list beside the student's name how many days were they suspended. Now, if you've got 100 students on a list and that were chronically absent, and you've got the number of days they were chronically absent, then you can compare the two numbers. So let's say that a student was chronically absent and they had 19 days that they had missed. And let's say that they had never been suspended, 0. Well, suspension didn't contribute to that student's chronic absenteeism. But let's say we have another student that was chronically absent, and it was 19 days they missed during the year. And let's say that they had maybe 5 suspension days. Then if they hadn't had those 5 suspension days, they would not have been chronically absent. But because they did have it, put them over 18, up to 19, or 20, or whatever the number was, and they were. So when you make that kind of table, and that can be done clerically very easy now with our data systems at individual schools, if you make that kind of list and you look down at, if you've got 100 students in the 9th grade that were chronically absent, and let's say only 10 or 12 were chronically absent because of suspensions, your problem's minimal. But let's say you look down that list of 100 students and half of them, 50 or so, were chronically absent due to suspensions. Then suspension is creating part of your chronic absentee problem and is worth addressing. So what we've done at the National Dropout Prevention Center is to put out a practice guide. I think the title of it is Improving Attendance by Reducing Suspension. And if you will take a look at that document, it's on our website. Just Google Dropout Prevention and you'll find us. And on our website, it's under Resources and also under Practice Guides. If you'll take a look at that document, it'll guide you through step by step how to make that determination. And then if you do have a chronic absentee problem that is rooted in suspensions, you probably need to look at your suspension practices, and we also guide you through how to do that. So we'll be glad to assist you in any way we can, but take a look at your suspensions, see if you can't reduce your absences by reducing your suspensions.